Hi, this is lesson 11 on which you can learn how to implement a very simple single page application by using View Router. Okay, first thing you do, please download the data files folder, EWT-11. Okay, after you open the folder, you will see that you have two links to the documentation for View and also View Router. Okay, this one you can refer yourself if I say you want to get more information about the frameworks. So this app is actually our template project. Okay, please right click this one and open in VS Code. Okay, I have done the process already. So this is the files. Okay, right now I'm opening the node.txt. One more thing, please ensure that you are opening the right folders. Otherwise, the web load will be different. Your app may not run correctly. So let me talk briefly about what is a single page application. A single page application, or in short, is called SPA. Okay, it doesn't mean that we can only write one page. We can have multiple page also. But this one is mainly point to the facts. The user, okay, the visitor will only do a single initial full page load. So when they visit to the website or web app, okay, the first page is going to be a full page load. So after they load the layout page already or the main page already, if let's say they want to view a different content or they want to go to a different page, so all this will be done in the background by using JavaScript. Okay, for example, we can make use of technique of Ajax to load the content dynamically in the background. So what we can do here is going to be like this. We're going to have one main page for the layout. Okay, one main layout page. We're going to implement it as our in-text or HTML. Okay, this is the one. Okay, you can notice that this project only have one file so far. Later you can add more files. It's called in-text or HTML. Okay, this is going to be the main layout. Okay, whereas the page content, okay, we will load it dynamically based on the URLs provided. So we can make use of Ajax or we can make use of what is provided by the library. So to do this, we need to implement a concept called client-side URL routing. So meaning to say, depends on what URL provided, different content is being loaded. But all of this is done at the client side. Okay, here we can make use of the library or framework called View Router to do the job. So because we are using the View framework, so in order to implement client-side routing in View framework, we have to use View Router. Okay, so if let's say you're using a different framework, for example, Angular or React.js, they will have their own client-side URL routing engine. So you have to match it accordingly. Okay, so there are two ways to implement SPA. Okay, the first way is that we put our layout and also the content in exactly one file. This is really a single page. But this is going to make your file very complicated. So that means that source code is going to be very long. Yes, we can do that. We can do that. Later we can try it out. Okay, at the beginnings. Okay, but we're going to choose the second approach. So our layout and also our content files is going to be a different files. Okay, then we can load it, okay, by using JavaScript. So this one is going to give us better file management. Okay, if let's say you put everything together, your app is small, it's fine. But if let's say your app size is getting larger already, then it's very difficult to manage. So this is how our completed project should look like. We're going to have the root component, which is our in-text or HTML. This is going to be our layout files. Okay, not only the layout, we can also write some logic inside. Okay, for example, we can use it to root our data, which we want to share among all the pages. We can do that. Okay, whereas for the rest of the pages, we're going to have page 1, page 2, and page 3. Okay, they will be implemented as component in Vue. Okay, so then we can load the component into a certain area, okay, based on the URL provided. So we have URL routing, we also got component, we also got our layout as root component. So CDN.js, okay, for this particular project, we will need to have the Vue, the main Vue framework, and also Vue router. Okay, and also jQuery. jQuery, we can use it later. We can start with Vue and also Vue router first. Anyhow, this one I already imported inside my in-text HTML already. So let me open up my in-text HTML, open it up. So this is how the file look like. Okay, it's a very basic file. If I say look at it, so this time I try to make it different a bit compared to our lesson 9 and 10. You can notice that after my body, I create a division. Okay, this division is going to be my Vue app, the main template. So this division covering the header, the navigation bar, and also the main content, which we're going to program later. So previously, I only make a division as the Vue app. So remember, if I say you want to manipulate anything in the Vue, okay, you have to put it inside your View app. So right now my header is inside the View app template already. I want to manipulate my header, no problem. I want to manipulate my navigation bar, no problem. So we can do that. But we usually will not make the entire body become our View app. The reason because you got script at the bottom here, man. So you cannot have script inside the View app. So that's why this is going to be our View app, inclusive of the header, nav, and also later the content from subpage will be displayed over here. So right now all these pages actually go to nowhere. You can notice that all these are actually linked to the hashtag only, meaning to say you're going to stay at the current page. So if let's say go down, you will see that we have this view, the main view framework, okay, the view router, and also jQuery Slim. Okay, we won't start by using jQuery Slim. When I want to use it, I will tell you. But there's no script section provided yet. We're going to implement everything from scratch. So right now, let's run it in our live server. Usually, we can start our live server by right-click and select Open with Live Server, or press the shortcut key Alternate LO. Or there's actually a button at the bottom right corner. It's called Go Live. You click on it, the live server will be started. Okay, so we have it started already. So you got the header, you got the layout. Okay, page 1, 2, 3, actually doing nothing, just provide a hashtag behind only. So right now, we're going to provide it with content. Back to VS Code. Okay, let's start with what we're familiar first. We're going to create the View app first. So apps cons. Okay, you go to View, create app. So then we provide the option in the middle, semicolon over here. Okay, we just provide a data section, will do data option. So data have to be a function that return an object. This is the one. So comma at the end. So we usually do that. So in the middle, okay, for example, I'm going to provide message. So I will say hello world. Nothing special, just hello world only. So after that, we're going to define, mount it to our template. So I can create a constant, I call it root. It can be any name, but I used to call it root to represent this one as a root component. So we take the app, okay, we call the mount method. So link it to our template. So the template, this one, ID app is actually referring to our division. Okay, and the division cover everything here on top. So we get this one done ready. Okay, the next thing to do, we're going to implement sub-content, okay, within the same file first. So we back to the top here, okay, in the general, we can create component by using create just like a normal variable. Okay, let's say I create a constant called page1, it's contain the option for creating that component. So one very important property is going to call template. This one represents the HTML template we want to apply to the component page1. So I can just say h1, okay, just give it h1 only will do page1. So in fact, this option can be having their own data, can have their own method, they can have event like created, mounted, so it can be very complex. But I don't want to make it complex because it's still in the same files. Later, we can do a complex one. So over here, I just leave it very simple. My component actually doing nothing. So this one is the option. The option actually referring to something similar to this. Okay, I will just provide the template only. Okay, let me do copy and paste and Control-C, Control-V. Okay, I would like to have 3 pages. Simulate to have 3 pages. So I got page 1, page 2, page 3. Okay, there will be no event, okay, no method. Just make it very simple because single file difficult to maintain. So later we're going to make them complex where we separate them in multiple files. So right now let us focus on creating the router. Okay, because I want to load these different what we so called as pages Okay, depends on the URL. Okay, right now let's create the view router. So I create a router, okay, equal to view router dot create router, create router. Okay, open with passing the option. Okay, for the option, the first part is actually how we want to handle the history. Okay, meaning to say the URL, okay, of our pages. Okay, we're going to make use of this view router dot create web hash history. Okay, like this. There's another option. It's called web history. Okay, one is web hash, another is web history. Because we are not really using a formal server. Okay, the one that's more appropriate for us is going to be web hash history. So this one is going to, for our URL, is going to append after a hashtag in our URL there. So that means, for example, if let's say I go to page 1, it's going to have a hashtag, okay, before the page 1 URL. So this is what web hash history is going to provide. Okay, another one is actually a HTML5 history. It's called web history. Okay, this one will not give us the hashtag. Okay, it will give us page 1 directly. But in order to do this, we need to do some server configuration to make it run properly. So because we are not using a proper server here, we are just using live server. So in that case, you can stay with this one, web history. Actually, it's interchangeable one. Okay, you can try next time lah. If let's say you are running it on a formal server. Okay, let's continue. The next one is going to be our routes. Okay, route is actually an array which represent how we want to link our URL to the component on top. Okay, again, these are the component. So let us provide it. Each of them is going to be an object hash. Okay, the first one, we supply the path, okay, which is point to the URL. So the first one, okay, slash page 1. Okay, I would like to load the component, which is page 1. Okay, let us assign it directly over here, page 1. That's it. So right now, our page 1 component is linked to this path already. So let's do copy and paste because we can 2 and 3. Okay, Control C, Control V, V. Okay, so V again. The last one I want to do redirection. So whereas this one is 2, this one is 3. Okay, this one we change to loading 2, this one loading 3. And for the last one, okay, we are going to match the rest of the pattern. If I say they are not matching. So what I can do here, okay, we're going to give the pattern a name. We start with colon, represent, we want to give a matching pattern a name. Okay, for example, I call it all. Okay, then what is the pattern I want to match is going to be everything else. So I can put a dot here, then put an asterisk. So this means the rest of the collectors. Okay, if I say it does not match page 1, page 2, page 3, okay, it will come to here, it's going to match the others collectors. Okay, whatever come in front is just a name. Okay, we provide a name for this matching group. So for example, I can put X, no problem. I can put Y also, no problem. So usually I'll just call it all to match all of the remaining pattern. This is actually a regular expression. So if I say you want to learn more about the pattern matching, you can refer to the documentation of the view router. It's going to give some very detailed explanation and also examples. So what I want to do, if I say for rest of the different URL, which is not matched by this one, not match this one, not match this one, they will fall down to here, right? Okay, I will do a redirect. Okay, if I say it's not matching, okay, I will redirect to this URL slash page 1. Okay, slash page 1. Okay, so we got page 1, 2, and 3. So we done it already. Okay, here we got the router, but we not yet use it. Okay, we have to use it in our app. So before we do mounting in the middle, we will use this plugin or use this features lah. Use router. Job done. Okay. Okay, now we have to go back to the HTML section to provide a placeholder to load our container. So this h1, we want to provide a place for it to load. So we are going to put it just after this line 25. So the tag is called router view. Okay, this one is coming from the view router. So not only this one, okay, the URL should actually point to the right URL. So we got page 1, 2, and 3, right? Okay, remember we are using web hash history. So in this case, okay, our URL should be start with a hashtag here. So the first one is going to be page 1, the second one page 2, and so on. So remember we need to have hashtag. So because we are using web hash history. So job done. Okay, we can go back to our browser and see whether we can have the content being loaded or not. So web browser. So if let's say you cannot see the content, you can try to reload the page because sometimes the engine will fail. So I got my page 1. Okay, try to check the URL. It's actually hashtag slash page 1. So I try to go to page 2. So page 2 is being loaded. Hashtag slash page 2 and also page 3. Page 3 is being routed, and this one is actually updated accordingly. Yep, okay, this one is really a single page application because we have everything in only one file. But when the user look at it, it look like you are having 3 pages, right? So only the first load is a full page reload. You can see the thing is loading. But when you try to load different component, it's only update the router view, the placeholder section with the new sub content only. So, but again, if let's say you try to put everything in one file, it can get very complicated. If let's say the program is getting larger. So right now we're going to talk about how to separate this file as a different files, and we're going to make use of that technique for the rest of the lesson. Okay, let's say I would like to place my page 3 as a separate file rather than inside this file. So let's say we're going to create a new files. Okay, let's say we start all the component file with underscore. This one is decided by us. So for my lesson, again, all my component file is going to start with underscore. So the component name is called page 3. So the file name is going to be page 3 also, .html. It's a typical HTML page. So over here, we're going to create our script tag. Script. Okay, we create a script tag. We can actually do exactly the same, like this page 3, then it's going to assign to a template, okay, and it's going to have hash 1. So for example, this one page 3. Okay, I can do things like this. Okay, but in order to make it work better, so I'm going to try to change this section a bit. Okay, so instead of using const page 3 like this provided template, okay, I will change it by using app.component. Okay, app.component. So then I'm going to supply the component name. Okay, this is the component is called name is called page 3, and the option is to be supply behind. Okay, supply behind. So if I say try to refer back to the in-text, you can notice that app is actually referring to my view app. So here is the same. So this one is my view app. So I'm creating a component. The name is called page 3 and the option will be inside lah. So definitely the template can be exactly the same as this one. Okay, I just copy and paste. Okay, I want to put h1, okay, inside here I can do this, but this one is going to get complicated if let's say our page is very complicated. So having one page one is easier to put it in string. So assume that we're going to have forms, we're going to have button, then using string to program our HTML is very troublesome. So that's why on top here, okay, I'm going to create a template element, Okay, this one template element. So let me provide a template element. Okay, but for this template element, I'm going to give it an ID so that I can search for it. So the ID I just got page 3 lah. Okay, matching the name of my component so that it doesn't clash with other places. So whereas this one, okay, for the h1, I will just put it inside this template. Okay, so then for this template, instead of providing the entire HTML inside the template, I will just provide the ID. Okay, let the view search for it. So the ID is called page 3. Okay, you can notice that I'm trying to match my component name, okay, my ID name, okay, ID name, and also my file name underscore page 3 exactly the same. So because later we have to write a function to load this file accordingly. Okay, here the rest again is be similar. We can also provide the data section. If let's say you want, okay, let's say I provide it, but I leave it to be empty lah. So data is going to be a function that return an object. So but I will leave it empty at this moment. Should be comma. Okay, so I can also provide lifecycle function. For example, created. So let's say for created, I will use it to modify my page title. That means this title bar, because right now it's always view router. So I want to modify it to be view router page 3 for examples. So let me come to here. Okay, I can do it. Document.title equal to view router, let's say column page 3. Okay, let me leave it to be like this first. Okay, so we have the files ready. Okay, but we don't really have a function that able to load the files. So we have to write it manually in this case because view router does not do it automatically for us. So I will go back to this in-text. Okay, I can create the function after page 3. I leave it to be page 3 first. Okay, we not yet load the files. Okay, let's create the function first. So the function, okay, I will just create load. Okay, we're going to provide the component file name over here. Then we're going to return a function that's going to load the component accordingly. Okay, this is supposed to return a function. So it's a function. We'll do a fetch. Okay, we can try to fetch our component file. I'm using backtick over here. So take note that our component file is actually starting with underscore. This one is decided by us as a programmer. So I can put an underscore here, followed by the component name, which is com. Okay, I forget to put a dollar sign already. Okay, then the file name is called HTML. So once I load this one ready, okay, I will get a response object. The response object, okay, I want to read it as text, as pure HTML. So then I'm going to get the pure HTML already, which is the text. So okay, we're going to do something. Okay, extra. Okay, first thing to do, we are going to inject the content. Okay, that means everything here, we are going to attach it to our in-text body. So we do this document.body. Okay, append with the text. Okay, after we done this, we're going to return the component itself. App component. Okay, the component name is called comp lah. Okay, so which matching what we're passing. So that's why we are making everything the same. So page 3, page 3, page 3, everything is matching. So easier for us to detect that. So this is a component name, so component name and so on. So right now let's test this function. This one is a simplified function. Okay, I will ask you to replace it with a more complex function later. So let's try it out. We are going to make this line become a command so that this page 3 is no longer working. Okay, so then we go down to here. Okay, we're going to call this load function. We're passing our component name. We want to load page 3. So when I supplied it, okay, the file that will be loaded is going to be underscore page3.html, which is this file. Okay, then it's going to read the text. Okay, inject the text to the in-text body. Then they will return the component so that it can be attached to the component over here lah. So right now, let's try it out. Okay, page 1 is working, page 2 is working. Okay, page 3 is actually loading from a separate files, right? I click on page 3. Okay, it's still loading. You can also notice that the document title has been modified, but definitely it will not change back to page 3 and 1 because I didn't do anything for page 1 and 2. So later you can complete it. So page 3 is actually looted from a separate file. Okay, I would like to do a demonstration also with my element HTML being shown. So I press F12. Okay, so I go to element. Okay, let me reload, click on the link to reload the whole page again. It will start fresh. So you try to look at the bottom before the body here because we're actually attaching the content of page 3 into the end of the body. So let me try page 1. Nothing happened. Page 2, nothing happened because they are in the same files. That's why nothing happened. But right now, if I say I click page 3, you can notice that the template for page 3 is being added. Okay, and also the script section is also being added. So that means the content of page 3 is loaded dynamically. Okay, right now the content is loaded into the page already, then view can make use of it. Okay, but this process only do one time. It's very smart. Okay, after we load it one time, the next asset, the next access is not going to load this one again because we already looted the page. So view router will handle that. It's going to cache the access ready. Okay, so right now we can go back. Okay, we want to enhance the loading further. The load function that we have written over here is actually kind of simple. It cannot handle some complex scenario. Okay, for example, if let's say go back to this underscore page, you will notice that there's a lot of repetition. For example, the ID, okay, we have to manually ensure that it's matched a component name. And here we have to provide the template. So why not after I provide the component name, okay, let's say my file name is page 3, okay, it's auto look for page 3. Okay, no need to provide the ID anymore. Okay, auto set up the template, no need to provide the template anymore. Okay, so this is something that we can do by using JavaScript also. Okay, there's also one more problem. If let's say I try to create a style over here, okay, we want to allow this to be happen. So let's say I want to style my page 3. Okay, I want to make my header 1 become red in color. Okay, the result will be very interesting. So here we are saying that my H1, okay, the red color, want to apply to H1 inside this component. But if let's say you try to go to the page, look at the result. Okay, actually the one on top has been changed as well. Okay, let me go back to page 1. So I reload again. By default, it's actually black in color, right? So because I not yet load the content of page 3, page 2 no effect. But when I click page 3, okay, all this content, the style, the template, and script will be loaded into the in-text page. That's why when I click page 3, okay, it will become red in color. Okay, we don't want to have this kind of CSS leak. Okay, I want to make my CSS to be stay in the page, in the component also. Okay, how can we do this? This one, yes, we can actually enhance our function here, but it's going to be very difficult. So that's why, okay, I already provide a enhanced version of the root function for you. Okay, let's highlight this function and press Ctrl/ to make it become command. Okay, so that we don't use the function over here. I already have the function inside JS. Okay, app.js. So you got a root function on top. Okay, at the bottom is actually our image resizing function, the crop that we use in Signal out, and also the fit. Okay, we use in Signal. So this is the library function that we have. Okay, on top here I have an enhanced root function. Okay, this root function, the base concept is similar. Okay, we will load your component files based on the component name over here, but it will do more things. Okay, it will try to locate the style tag, the template tag, the script tag. Okay, take note. So inside our component file, okay, we can only supply style, template, and also script tag. Okay, it will locate it automatically and assign the ID accordingly. So here, you will also try to do some processing for the CSS. Okay, so you're going to try to append some additional class in front of the CSS class so that it does not crash with the global CSS style. Okay, basically you will provide the component ID with dash contain line. Okay, so if I say you want to style root component, we use a colon root. Okay, this one we'll talk about that later. So this section basically is going to process the style sheet file inside the file so that it does not crash with the global style. So the ID will be add the component ID in front. Okay, add some special element in front. Okay, this one is actually auto set up the template. Okay, so that the template ID will matching the component as well. So then it's append to the body law. Okay, the style, the template, and also the script section. So because in our template file only can have style, template, and script section, then it's going to assign the template ID automatically. This one will be assigned automatically based on the component file name. So then we return the component. So this function do more, okay, so that we can actually take care of some repetitive process automatically. Okay, so we can make use of it. So the details, I think no need to worry about. Just learn how to use it will do. Okay, let me close this app.js. Okay, so let's go back to this index. So because we remove the function already, so this root function no longer working, right? So let's come to here. We're going to import the script okay, for the JS app.js. We're going to use the enhanced root function supplied by my code, by my library. So right now, after we did that already, after we import this app.js already, so the root function will become a variable again, the enhanced version. Okay, let's come back to this tree. Okay, we can make some modification. The ID on top here is not required anymore. Okay, because the script is going to do it automatically. Okay, the template is not required anymore. We can throw it away because the JavaScript is going to do it automatically. Okay, whereas for the style section, it depends. Okay, if let's say the element that you want to apply is the root element, because this one is the root of my template, right? I only have one. Then you don't use #1. We use this colon root. Okay, this is going to represent the root element of the template. Okay, so that the ID will be meshed. ID will be generated, so it's going to mesh to this one. So let's look at the result right now. Okay, I go back to here. So page 1, no problem. Page 2, no problem. Page 3, yes, the style is actually contained within here. Okay, there's a lot of things happening right now. So behind the scene. Okay, so let us go back to here. Okay, we're going to make it look better. So for this one, supposedly we should cover it by using a main section. Okay, we're going to enhance it a bit. So I'm going to create it by using a main section, main. Okay, inside here I got my h1. So this is going to be page 3. Okay, after that, let's say I would like to create a paragraph. Okay, a paragraph, and this paragraph I want to do something special. Okay, I would like to load this message from my root element. Okay, how can we do that? Okay, just want to tell you that it's not related to the how we name it, because we cannot access to external variable inside our view. So I want to take the root component message and display it over here. How can we do that? Yep, there's a special keywords variable. It's called $root. Okay, when we access to $root, this one refer to the root component. Then I want to access to its message. Then we have the message display ready. Okay, let's say this time. Okay, if let's say right now I want to style my h3 to become red because my root component is no longer the main. Okay, it is no longer h1. So here I can just directly say h1. Okay, h1. I want to style the h1. So some additional ID will be added in front, so that it does not crash with the original the global style. So right now this h1 is actually referred to the h1 over here. So we use colon root. Okay, if let's say you want to use it apply to our root component. Okay, so let me change it back to h1. So let's look at the result right now. Okay, so yep, we got a hello world in this page, and also the other page we not yet implement. Okay, but for this hello world is actually working already. Okay, and the main component actually give us some padding. Okay, in front and behind in our CSS file. Okay, let's come back to here. So actually I no need to apply style for this one. Okay, I will just remove it. So later we can do copy and paste for the rest of the pages. Right now, back to Visual Studio Code, we're going to copy page 3 underscore page 3, copy and paste, Control C, Control V, so that we got two different files. Okay, let us rename it and modify it. We want to create the template file for page 1 and 2. So this is page 1. Okay, for page 1, on top here, I just got it page 1. So here I got it page 1, here I got it page 1. So the important thing is that we match the component name, okay, together with the file name underscore page 1. As long as these two are matching, then it's okay already. So right now for the second file, okay, we can rename it. Okay, this one is going to be page 2. So I want to have page 1, 2, 3 as a separate files. So this is page 2. So on top here, page 2, title page 2, this one page 2, and this one will also change to page 2. So now we got the template files, the sub-component files for page 1, 2, and 3 already. So let me close everything right now. Okay, I would like to go back to ink text. For ink text, okay, the first two lines, we can make them become comment already. Control /. Okay, so become comment already. So then this is no longer working. So we have to do the same as how we did it for page 3. So load, okay, this is going to be page 1. Okay, the second one is going to do loading. okay, for page 2. Okay, so in the futures, we are going to load component files like this. We are not going to put everything in one single page lah. Okay, so just like this. Okay, right now let's test it first and see whether it's working or not. So page 1 hello world, page 2 hello world, page 3 hello world. Okay, 3 pages are looted accordingly. Okay, by default, if I say the page is not yet visited, it will not be looted. Okay, only at the time that we click on it, okay, it will be looted. Okay, so there's one more thing that I want to do is actually talking about navigation. So we know navigation, we can actually do it by using the, okay, let me go back to here. Okay, we can do it by providing the link like this. We start with hashtag, then we say which page we want to go. So what if we want to implement it as a button? So if let's say you want to create as a button, then we have to write function to do the job, right? Okay, okay, I'm going to go to this 2. Okay, I want to do it from 2 go to 3, from 3 go to 2 because I want to use page 1 for other purpose. So let me go to page 2. This is page 2, be careful. Okay, over here, okay, let's create a button. Okay, button. So for this button, I will say that, okay, well, click on this button, I will go to page 3, but I'm not going to use the hashtag link. Okay, click. Okay, what I want to do is I want to be able to navigate to page 3. Okay, to do that, we can use a special properties also. It's called router. Okay, router dot push. Okay, we can use router dot push to visit to other pages based on our routing tables, based on our tables over here. So we got page 1, 2, and 3. So here router dot push. Okay, I'm going to say slash page 3. Then we're going to go to page 3 already. So let me do the same for page 3. From page 3, I want to go to page 2. So here I can create a button. Okay, button. So this button is going to display page 2. Page 3, I want to go to page 2. So same thing, click event. Okay, I directly write it inside because it's very short. Router.push. Okay, you push to push the address. So this one want to go to page 2. Okay, so let's test it whether our button is working or not. So page 1, nothing. Okay, page 2, click on this button, should go to page 3. So I'm in page 3 already. From page 3, I click on this button, I'll go back to page 2. Yeah, so the linking is working. So here and there, here and there. Okay, the URL also changed because it's going to add that to our history as well. Okay, so our history is going to have all of this as we navigate between pages lah. So again, all this history is actually maintained by view router. Okay, so right now, when I navigate between pages, it's not exciting at all. Okay, in the previous lesson, we learned about transition. We can actually apply transition for view, okay, for this view router. So that one, let me close this one, Okay, let's focus on ink text. We can apply transition for this. Okay, but it will be different a bit from how we do it in normal component. Okay, this one we have to apply it different a bit. In the previous lesson, we applied transition by using this method, right? We use the transition to cover the component, but this one may not work for view router, router view. So let's say I just apply first. Okay, I shown you the warning. Okay, it's going to generate warning for us. Okay, I want to use a mode of out, then in. Let the old page go out first, the new page coming in, and I'm going to make it appear as well. So that's going to appear. Okay, looted. Give me an animation at the time of loading. So let me paste it over here. Okay, so if I say I do this, okay, a warning will be generated. So let me go to my page and see. Page 1. Page 2, okay, page 3, yes, I got some effect, but it does not look very right. Okay, let us look at, press F12 to look at the console windows. Okay, that is a warning. The warning said that, well, router view can no longer be used directly inside transition or keep alive. Okay, you have to use slot properties instead. Okay, the implementation will be like this. We have to have the router view outside, then we say vslot. So make use of this keyword capital component, then transition put inside. Then we say component is component, something like this. We have to do according to this pattern. Okay, so let us make some modification. So that means the transition have to be placed inside, okay, of the router view. Okay, over here, this one I have to move in. So that means we have to make modification like this. Okay, okay, adjust. Okay, then on top here, we're going to make use of the directive called vslot. Okay, this one have to be assigned to this component. Capital letter have to follow exactly because they got special meaning for this one. Okay, inside here, okay, we're going to apply this component object. Okay, then we say this one link to this component, capital letter component. Okay, this is what is suggested lah. Okay, so if let's say you try to look at the suggested, it's gone already. So right now you can see that it's working fine again. So we got out, we got in, we got out, we got in, and there's no longer warning given there. Okay, let's go back to the code and do some cleaning. And this appear is not required to be provided over here because our router view by default is do not have any pages. So then the new page coming in, page one, for example. So the appear is not really it's not really required over here. So I can take it away. So and whereas for this closing tag, also not required. We can make it shorter lah. We make this particular component just like that will do. So if let's say I go back to the page, it's the same. So when I load my page fresh, okay, you can notice that the first page still have the animation. No need to provide this appear. So page 2 out and in, 3 out and in. So my slide is actually going out and coming in again. Okay, so right now let's focus on page 1. For page 1, I want to do image slider over here. Okay, this one is underscore one page one. So let's modify the static HTML first. We create the structure first, later we're going to program it. So I'm going to create a division. I give it a name, I call it slider. Okay, with the ID slider. So inside here, we're going to have an image element. Okay, right now, let us point to a static source. So which is coming from here, Suzy1 image folder Suzy1. So let's do that. Okay, image slash Suzy1. Okay, take one picture. At the bottom, we're going to have a paragraph. Okay, inside a paragraph, we're going to have button. So the first one is called previous. I call it pre. Okay, then I'm going to have some text. I'm going to say that image 0 of 0. Okay, the image number, current number, followed by the length of the image. So finally, we're going to have another button coming in. So this one I call it next. So we got previous and next. So let's say look at the UI right now, it's look like this. Okay, let me make some adjustment. Previous and next. Okay, for everything, we go to middle, and I want to give it a border effect like how we did it previously. So let me go on top here. We're going to provide the style section. Okay, style. Pop. Okay, the first one, okay, the slider, okay, with the ID, right? Okay, I'm going to make it text align center. When I do this, everything is supposed to be moved to the center. So center ready. Okay, then let us give the image a white color border. So let us continue here. It's going to be the img element inside the slider. Okay, just look like this will do. Okay, then let's apply the styling. The original width of image is actually 600 pixel. Okay, the height is actually 400. So I just provide it. Then I'm going to give it a border. Okay, 5 pixel solid and white color. This is to become the photo frame. So this one will come along with the box shadow, definitely. So when I apply box shadow, it's going to give us the border frame, photo frame effect. Okay, so if I say I do up to this level, okay, come back to here. So we got the photo frame effect already, but I want to make it rounded corner lah. So let's continue. Okay, then provide this border radius. Okay, the next one, border radius selected. Okay, let's say 5 pixel. Okay, good enough. Okay, so right now we have this there. Okay, but the image is static. We got the UI done already. All this actually not yet been programmed. So actually, I would like to make it able to slide between previous and next for the 4 photo inside my images folder. Okay, implement by using view. Okay, so right now we'll go down here. Okay, we have to supply the data section already. Okay, we start by creating the image array. Okay, this array is going to contain all the 4 images, the path to all 4 images. So my image is actually called as Suzy 1 until 4, right? Okay, let's provide the first one. Suzy-1 JPG. JPG, comma. Okay, then let's do copy and paste. Control C, V, V, V. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and also 4. Okay, since we have an array, in order for us to be able to choose the one of the image and display it under here, we can apply in-text. Okay, so I can remember the in-text. I call it in-text. By default, the in-text is 0. Okay, so if I say image in-text 0, is going to take the first picture. So right now, let me go back up to here. We're going to make this source become dynamic. So I'm going to supply color in front. So inside then it's not going to be hard-coded text anymore. It's going to be JavaScript expression. So I can say that I want to take from the images array, but in text is this one. So that means image in text 0. Okay, let's look at the result right now. Okay, there's no change, right? Because we do the same. Okay, if let's say I change the in text become 1 already. Okay, let's go back to here. So it's a different picture already. Definitely we'll go back to here lah. So this one I'm going to put it as 0. We're going to modify it based on a function. We're going to write function for previous and next. But before we do that, we can already supply the 0 and 0, the count, the current image number, and also total image behind. Okay, this one we cannot put in text because in text 0 base. We're going to plus 1 because to normal user, their thinking is starting from 1. Programmer is starting from 0. Okay, behind is going to the number of image that we have. So it's going to be images length. Okay, let's look at the result for these two. Yep, we got 1, 4. Okay, now again program previous and next. Okay, it's very simple. Just decrease the index and also increase the index will do. But we have to take care of boundary. So let's go down here. We're going to create two methods. Okay, later I'll link to the button. Okay, you can create methods. Okay, open and close. The first function, this one, I always give a comma here. This one is going to be previous. Okay, open and close, give a comma. Then next, okay, open and close, give a comma here. So right now, let us program the code. Let me move the code up a bit. So we start with previous. Okay, this dot index minus decrease by 1. Okay, but we have to test, ensure that this one is not out of boundary. So if I say this dot index is already out of boundary, less than 0 out of boundary, cannot be less than 0. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to set it to be the last index so that we're going to have a secure navigation motion. Okay, so if I say less than 0, we go back to the last. Okay, this dot images dot length. Okay, we're going to -1. This is going to give us a last index. Okay, after that, we can do something later. Okay, so again, maintain a line over here. It's talking about the transition effect, the one latest. So let us continue to do next. Okay, this dot index plus plus. This one no issue. So then we test for the value also. If let's say the current index is already beyond the boundary, if let's say it's greater equal to the image dot length. Okay, that means beyond the boundary already, it cannot be equal or greater than that. So we're going to set it back to 0. That means the first image. So we get it done already. Okay, again, I maintain a blank line over here because I want to use it to modify the transition effect. Okay, now the function is completed, previous and next, and let's go up to attach it to the function event. So for this, it's going to be click. Okay, I want to call previous. Okay, no need to give bracket because there's no parameters. For next also, click. Okay, we want to call the next without any bracket. It's okay. So right now we can do testing already. So next, next, next. Okay, should we go back to the first one? Okay, yes, in circular motion. So how about previous? So previous, go back to the last one. So it's working. Okay, but the problem is that there's no transition effect. So okay, apply transition effect. So I got two effects provided, okay, inside my CSS file. Okay, slightly different from the previous lesson one. So for example, right now, yes, we got fade. Okay, right now I also provide zoom. You can try it. It's going to make the item change size, okay, from 0.5 to 1 and so on. Okay, the rotate, same one. Okay, then we have this slide enter slide effect. Okay, but this time my slide effect is always -100 pixel. Okay, I do not separate my enter form and also leave to. The reason because I want to use it for my page sliding. It shouldn't be such a big movement. So at the bottom here, I got two more. Okay, one is called slide to the left. Slide it to the left. So it's actually from the right, okay, it's moved to the left. Right to the left. That's why I call it slide to left, slide left. I also get another, it's called slide right, sliding to the right hand side. Okay, so let us use one of it first. Let's say I'm going to use slide left first. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my page one. Okay, I close my CSS. So I want to make it dynamic. That's why here I can apply the transition name as a properties or as a variable. Okay, by default, it's going to be slide left. Okay, so let's go up. So I can cover it up by using a transition. Okay, the name will be different. Okay, the name will be different a bit because we want to get from variable. So I need to provide colon in front to indicate it's a JavaScript expression. I will take it from the name. Okay, from this particular data properties. Okay, so we got it done already. Then continue with move. So for the move, I can say out in, same. Okay, appear may not be required. Okay, let me move this closing tag to cover the image tag over here. Okay, like this. Okay, anyhow, this may not be working. Okay, so let me show it to you. I go back to my page. I click next. Yes, the image is actually changing, but my effect is actually not applied. Okay, there's no transition effect. Okay, the reason is because it's very different from our previous implementation. In the previous lesson, we do have two images. We separate them by using if and else. Okay, two image, but over here is exactly the same image component. So view actually, they do not know we're actually changing the image. That's why the transition effect is not being applied. To solve this problem, okay, well, so actually we used it before. We just have to provide the key. Okay, we use because view use key to actually differentiate among different elements. So we just provide something different for them will do lah. Okay, how we know that what is the differences? Very easy. Okay, we differentiate them by the index will do. Okay, so because our index will change for different images. So if let's say index is different, okay, we treat them as a different element. Okay, we just do like this will do lah. So right now, let me go back to my page. So I go next. Yes, you can see that the picture is sliding to the left, sliding to the left, sliding to the left. Okay, so it's actually working fine. Okay, but for my previous button, I also have the same effect, sliding to the left. Okay, right now I want to do something. If let's say I click previous, I want to sliding to the right. Previous, sliding to the right. Next, sliding to the left. Okay, so I want to change different transition name based on different operation. So let's come back to this now. So for the default one, okay, we still slide left. Okay, when we click next, we also slide left. So I will come to here. Okay, I will say that, okay, well, if that's the next button is being clicked, the name of the transition, this dot name, equal to slide left. Okay, we use this transition name. Okay, whereas for previous, we're going to change it. Okay, we make the name dynamic. So this dot name, okay, equivalent to slide to the right. Okay, slide to the right. And then we're going to have a better previous and next effect already. So let's go back to this. Okay, two different transition being applied. Slide to the left. Okay, previous, slide to the right. Okay, you can see that it's something like go back. Okay, it's actually work better, right, in this case. Okay, well, so it will be even better if let's say we can support this by using keyboard button. Okay, I want to click my left arrow key, right arrow key to control my image sliding process. In order for us to register the key down event, regardless where the user focus on the web page, so we have to register the event to the document object, okay, which represent the whole web documents. Okay, but if let's say try to look at our structure, our view is only active, okay, for this division. Okay, so if let's say you talk about document, the entire document, that one is not within the context of view already. So that's why we have to use other approach to implement the event rather than doing something like this add click. Okay, this one is not going to work out of the context of view. Okay, so what should we do? We can actually make use of our own method. Okay, previously we actually implement the key down event by using jQuery in our chat RT, draw RT, and also press RT. Okay, this time we can do the same also. That's the reason why I still making use of jQuery Slim over here. Okay, not only because of this and also my app.js library also make use of jQuery to make the code much more concise. Okay, that's the reason why jQuery is required if let's say you're using app.js, and also if let's say you want to implement some custom event handlings. Okay, right now let me close this index. I go back to this page. Okay, when should we implement the event? Is when the UI is ready. So created is whenever the view instance is being created, the data is ready, but the UI may not. So then we're going to continue to implement the method called mounted. Okay, mounted will be called when the UI is ready. Then we can access the document object ready. Okay, we may need to write some code inside unmounted, meaning to say when the element is being destroyed, but I will talk about this one later. Let's provide the skeleton first. Mounted, when the UI is ready, we implement our event handlings for the whole document object to register for the key down. Unmounted, we'll do something else. So we come to here first. So by using jQuery Slim, okay, we can access to jQuery Slim by using this method, document. Okay, we're going to do on this key down event. Okay, here we're going to say that E open and close. So what we want to do is that we want to register for the arrow key. Okay, we can make use of switch button to do the job. Switch E.code. Okay, we can listen for E.key. If let's say you want to know what letter is being pressed by the user. Okay, here I want to listen to E.code. So mean to say which button is being pressed by the user. So the physical button. So then we're going to match the case one by one. Let me provide the skeleton first. Case, break, case, and also break. Okay, so then we're going to provide our button name over here. The first one is going to be arrow left. Okay, let's say I press left, I want to call this dot previous. Okay, remember to include the this keyword to refer to our current view object. So after that, arrow right. Okay, for this one, we are going to call this dot next. Okay, so I would like to add one additional line. Okay, just after the switch statement to indicate the event have been triggered. Okay, yeah, just to console.log. Okay, I will say that key down. Okay. Okay, so this one is actually for testing. I want to indicate that the event is being called so that the console window is going to have these words being displayed. So let me go back to my page. I can do a full page reload lah. So right now, let me open up my console windows. Okay, so here I'm going to just clear it one more time. Okay, clear it one more time. So I click over here, I press the next, okay, the right arrow key. Okay, it's moved to the next image without any problem. So key down one time, click again, key down two times. So I click previous. Okay, it's working also, previous working also. Okay, it's working fine without any problem. Okay, so right now I'm going to go to other pages and come back in again. So I go to page 2. Okay, so I'm going to go back to page 1. Okay, so right now I can try to click again. So I press next button. Okay, you can see that 4 becomes 6. My key down appeared twice. Okay, I click one more time, 6 become 8. So that means my key down is actually displayed 2 times. My event is actually double up already. Okay, so right now I go to page 2 again. Okay, I come back to page 1. This time will be 3 times. So right now it's 8, right? Okay, I press my right button. Okay, right button, I click, 8 will become 11. This means my key down is actually being called for 3 times. I go to other page, come back in again, it will be accumulated, become 4 times already. I press 1 time, then 15. Press 1 time, 19. Okay, why this happen? Okay, this happen is because this multi event will always will run every time when the page is looted. Okay, whenever we leave the page, so for example, I leave the page, the component will be destroyed. Okay, when I go into page 1 again, the mount event will be run again. So the created, the mount, and also unmounted will run every time when we loot the page, same page again lah. Okay, in that case, the event is actually registered many times. It's not only one time, it's like registered many times. No, so that's why this message is actually double up. So double up. So we have to do one thing to prevent it. Otherwise, the event will be always staying in the memory. So how we settle it is very simple. Okay, mounted. Okay, so we register event. When we leave the page, unmounted will be called. So that means the page has been destroyed. We remove the event. Okay, the easiest way to remove an event in jQuery is document. Okay, off. Okay, this will turn off all the event. Okay, even though the event is registered in the index page lah, but it's easiest. We can actually provide a key, a name after that. Okay, but I will just call it document off. This will turn off all the event. Deregister it. This one we register event. This one we delete it. Okay, delete it. Okay, so let us look at the effect right now. So this time the key down will be called 1 time only every time we press a button. So let us test again. So I press next. Okay, this one time normal lah. I press 1 time, increase by 1. Okay, so 3, 4 is okay. So I go to other pages. Okay, I go back to page 1. So the mount function will run again. So let's see, is it 4 will become 5 or 6? So I press again, 4 will become 5. I press again, 5 will become 6. 1 time only. So it does not double up. The reason because we have already canceled the event so that the event will not be accumulated to the next mount again. So this step is very important. Otherwise, our event will be double up. So which is may give some funny effect lah. Okay, so which we don't want. Well, we have done the job already. So for this console to log no longer required. Now let's cut it off. So remember that if let's say we can handle event by using view, we use view. But if let's say we really have no choice, for instance, we want to attach it to the document object, then we can make use of jQuery. But remember that, okay, we register event in the mounted function, and remember to unregister it, okay, in the unmounted function, so that the event will not be double up accumulated. So we done the job ready, settle the lesson ready. So right now we have finished up our single page application and also view router. In the next futures lesson, okay, in the future lesson, I can make use of this pattern that we're going to have the main layout page and some sub pages, always making use of view router. So in the next lesson, we're going to cover Firebase Cloud Firestore. Okay, see you next time. Yeah.